Hey guys, we're glad that you're back. Today we're going to show you how to do a soil test. We've got our soil probe right here. You can still use like a small shovel or hoary to get this done, but these probes make it a lot easier. We also have our bucket to collect our sample. So we're just going to take the probe in this really hard dirt because it hasn't rained. And so we got our sample right here. This is how dry everything is. I've watered all this and it's basically like a desert. Even though it got an hour and a half of water. So right here, we're just gonna pull off this top layer that's got like a little bit of roots and thatch. This other little root out here. And so this is what we want, is that layer that's a few inches below the surface. And we're gonna take a bunch of these. We're gonna collect these until we get about 3/4 of a cup or a cup. So for our soil sample area right now, we are going to focus on the backyard. So I'm going to go around here and collect a bunch of samples from the backyard. You can take the top and you just shove it back in there if you want to. And go over here. This is so dry right now. This is difficult to do. It's definitely better if you can do it when there's been a little bit of moisture in the soil. Which, like I said, I watered. This morning got an hour and a half of water. But I mean, it is bone dry. The other thing that's important is I have not put out any kind of fertilizer or anything in 4 to 6 weeks. You definitely don't want to come out here, lay a bunch of fertilizer, and then do a soil test. It wouldn't give you what you want to see. But this right here, right now, is the single most important thing that you can do for your yard. Because without a soil test, we don't know what kind of fertilizer to use. We don't know what ratio of fertilizer to use. And this is one of these secrets that these lawn companies don't tell you. They tell you they're using a special program for your lawn. But what they mean is that they're using a special program for the area. I guarantee if you ask some of these big companies, you can be like, oh, you can ask them, do you soil test? And they don't. They just do a generic plan for your area. Get up here where I can show y'all. So right up there in the soil probe, we're going to take this little top layer out. It's got like all the grass and roots. We're interested in this little section right here. So I was going to take a moment and show you all this sample right here. You can see down in here is the real clay base that I have. There's like a fine mixture of sand on top of it, but I mean, this is like what I'm working with here. I mean, it's like dough. So there's your sand mixture. And up here at the top is a little bit of like topsoil. Got a little bit of roots in there, but you can see how dry this is. And we got our whole bucket here. So what we did is we just randomly go throughout the yard. We're going to do a sample for this of just the backyard. We'll also do one for the front, but we're going to take all this sample and we're going to pick out like all of the grass pieces, all of the rocks, and we're going to stick this in a Ziploc bag I'll show you that process here in just a moment. Okay, so we have our sample here. So we're just going to break this up. We need to get rid of like the rocks like this. I'm going to set that in my little sample tool. Don't want my mower to hit that. So you're just going to take all this and we just need to break it up. There's still just a little bit of moisture in some spots, not a lot. But we want to go ahead and just pick out all these little pieces of roots. And once again, this is the most important thing that we can do for our yard right now. I want to let you know that. So we're going to take this, we're just going to keep breaking it up into small chunks. Now, normally I would tell you to take this and put it in a Ziploc bag and like set it out on the driveway. There's another rock. Take your Ziploc bag, let it sit in the driveway, and let the moisture get out of the sample. One, that kind of makes it a little lighter for shipping. Doesn't make a drastic difference, but it does. And also lets it get dry. But, I mean, it hasn't really rained at all in a while. So we're just going to keep breaking all this up. Want to get in the smallest pieces we can. Sometimes, depending on how hard your soil is, you may have to use a hammer. But, you know, you just got to get it, you want to get it as fine as you can get it. Especially being in Alabama, you're probably going to find on your soil test, if you haven't put lime out on your yard, that you're going to have acidic soil. And here's the thing, if your soil is acidic, your grass doesn't absorb the nutrients. It's a waste of time with fertilizer, and it struggles to grow, and the weeds thrive in that. Especially like doveweed, I mean, just all kinds of weeds. They love that acidic soil. And this highly acidic soil really lets those weeds thrive and the grass struggle. And it doesn't matter what fertilizer you put out. It can be the perfect mix. But because the acidity is off, then it struggles. So right there, guys, here's our sample. It's labeled BY for backyard. You can see we've got it here in our Ziploc bag. We've got it broken down. It's fine. We're going to get a sample of the front yard too, and then we're also going to show you how to fill out the form. We're going to send this off to Clemson. Each test is $6. Takes about a week to get back plus shipping. I'll show you another tool to use for that so that you can save a ton of money on shipping this to Clemson, but you may also want to check with your local county's extension office. They may be able to help you out. They also do testing, and it may be around the same price. Okay guys, we're back in the studio. We're going to go over how to do the soil test form to submit to Clemson. I've got the page pulled up right here. I'll have a link to this down below, but it's really simple. They have a whole guide on how to complete the form over here on the right hand side. If you need more detailed information, over here is the actual soil form itself. It'll go ahead and load the PDF that you can fill out, where you'll submit your name, information. This is the cost per sample. I'll just go over this real quick. Like we mentioned that our backyard sample is going to be named BY, so we would put this BY here. We're going to ignore this. We'll go over the crop code and the crops to be grown here in just a minute. What you're going to want to do is the standard soil test is $6 per. If we wanted to do something like the front yard, also we'd add this line. And down here is where you put your information for your total and you include your check. A mailed report is not necessary. They will email you the soil sample as soon as it's processed. They'll give you the report for that. But make sure that you have your email address correctly in here. You definitely want to have that in there correct. Take the time to double check that. Down here is where it's going to have the crop codes. And if you'll notice, there's a specific section right here for square foot crop codes for homeowners, which is what we're looking for. And it's going to scroll faster than we want it to. But we are going to be looking for 048 for warm season grass maintenance. That's what we're going to be doing is warm season grass like Zoysia and Bermuda. And then when you're filling out the forms, you'll put 048 and then you'll put Bermuda as the crop that you're growing. That way you'll get specific results for your crop. It will tell you, for example, how much lime you need to put down, the ratio of nitrogen, how much per thousand, all that information. This information is critical in order to get the correct amount of fertilizer down, to get the balance of the soil right, to get you the best value for your time and money. We're going to talk about that a lot here on this channel about getting the best value in relation to time and money. And another thing that will give you the best value is when you go to ship this. If you have a printer at home, you can go ahead and package the soil sample and use pirate ship. Depending on where you're located, it may be $6 to $8. It just depends on how far you are from that zone where the soil testing can be done. But either way, this will save you tremendous amount of money versus going to the post office or going to UPS directly. The counter rate is always the highest. You're definitely going to want to use this, especially with the holiday season coming up. If you got email packages to friends, family, you definitely want to be using pirate ship.